The new Mazda RX7 that, premiered at the Japanese auto show, I think is car nirvana, sports car nirvana. I think this is as close as you can get to perfection when it comes to styling, but someone with actual good taste is sitting right beside me to give us a lending hand. What do you think, Marie?
It's a special look. I don't know how to call that. It's for sure totally different than the other models that we see at Mazda. So it's not how can I say that? It's not boring. It's fashion, but I'm not sure I love that fashion.
Okay.
Why? It's because it looks long and all the stuff are in the bottom, too much in the bottom, I guess. So I'm not sure I love the curve.
But you're a truck girl. So
Yeah, I'm a truck girl, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I didn't mean it like that. It's just
it's me.
a low
I'm laughing
slung
at that.
vehicle. My Porsche 911, you're like, oh, you're not in love
But
with it the
it's
way
not
I am.
fancy and beautiful like a Porsche. It's different. It's futuristic, and at the same time, when we look on this side here, it's like there's not that much definition.
Okay.
It misses something there, I guess.
You are used to Mustang GTs that have a lot of side definition.
Maybe, yeah.
However, I'd point out, like my 2000 Porsche 911, there is definition in the rear. The definition is just the fact that it gets wider. It's a wide rump vehicle. This has a very, to everything that you'd say, I'd say there's a very big butt. And the very big butt is actually the butt
big.
of the vehicle. When we see this in live, that's going to be a beautiful wide line. As long as they put very wide tires on it and don't cheap out and put, slim tires on it. If they put wide tires on this, it is going to look great. Because remember, this isn't a guaranteed styling of what we'll get. And even if we get it, I hope we do get it. The fact that they actually put a Mazda grille on it, which usually concept models that will never come to fruition are very exciting, but don't have much of the, you could say, family heritage that the rest of the vehicles have. It'd be like two parents that are, it'd be like you're looking at an ad and the parents are very so-so looking, and then, the 20-year-old daughter or son is like top model status, and you're like, well, this looks very much like, this looks very not real. Well, the automobile industry can be seen the same way. When you see a vehicle that they're saying, hey, look at this vehicle from Mazda, if there was no family genetics to it, it's a good sign that there's very little chance it happens. But they threw on the grille that we can see on the Mazda 3. Basically, all the Mazdas have this grille right here. Now, the lights are a little different. They're a little more narrowed down. But I really love how these lights keep actually a bit of, the original lights on the RX-7 would have pretty much been this entire outline, but what they did is they put a daytime LED light running it through, and then you've got probably your low beams and high beams right there for a nice long, so they've mixed in genuine RX-7 heritage with current Mazda family heritage, and a bit of long light, because that seems to be the new trend. If you're looking over at Kia, you're looking at Hyundai, most vehicles are going for this slender eye look. Now you've got the bottom grille, nice little air intake. I really hope, Mazda, you really mess up if you make these fake and the air doesn't go anywhere. This should be grill to bring air. It needs to bring air to either the engine or the wheels. And ideally, if you really know what you're doing, it's air to cool off the brakes and the engine. Because guess what? Some people like to actually really drive their vehicles. Now, we continue on. The wheels aren't that far-fetched. I'd be surprised if the final model comes out with, here I'd say what this looks on a car, this looks more than just 20-inch. It almost looks like a 22-inch wheel, and that wouldn't make it to the production model. And so little spacing would most likely not make it to production model, because some people will drive over speed bumps at fast speeds. Some people will drive through the snow, and I don't see that being really, I can imagine taking this out with snow tires and this entire area just filling up and the wheel kind of jamming up in ice. So I'd argue that I think this is an incredibly beautiful vehicle. If you look at the sculpted lines here, going down to the lights, the sheet metal, a little bit of added dollars to make a sheet metal that is, not just a flat bonnet. So beautiful bonnet on this. And the interior isn't so far-fetched to make me think that it's, not going to happen. You can also see tiny little mirrors here. That won't make it to production. Unless it's just a camera that shows up on a screen, they're going to have a real mirror. This won't pass any sort of, this will not be acceptable for the government. Basically, every vehicle needs to be made as if many, many 18-year-olds as well as 88-year-olds are going to buy the vehicle. So you can't expect someone with, you can't basically build a vehicle so that only the most talented, visually adept customers will be buying your vehicle. But I do like, you see right in the hood, a little two air extractors looking a little bit like fangs. You follow that down the hood. I think this, for me, this is much better looking than the current Corvette. WB, I'm not picking on you. I'll tell you, I love the new Corvette enough that I went to a Corvette dealership looking to probably put a deposit down on one. And actually, I was going to put a deposit on it, and then I was going to,
but they didn't
beg
want
forgiveness
you.
afterwards, but they just didn't want me. They're like, no, we're like 5 years out. Forget about it. So I forgot about it. And I disagree. In Canada here, a 3-year-old Corvette still has $20,000 over MSRP on it. That's silly. And a 1-year-old Corvette has, a little less. It's at least now it's not 50,000. It's only 40,000 markup. But I almost feel like a lot of dealerships are just selling these Corvettes to, contacts and friends, kind of with the idea of either keep it forever or, we're going to sell it to you at MSRP so we don't get in trouble and eat heat from GM, but sell it back to us in 1, 2, or 3 years. We'll make it worth your while, and that's where they make their money. This is a beautiful vehicle, Marie. You're on the fence, or are you definitely thinking that it's not for you?
I would say if somebody really loves the brand Mazda, it's a good one. The front, the nose make me think of an Audi R8. So
Well
yeah,
said.
it's more fancier than we're how can you say that? Habitué? What's the word in English?
Used to.
Used to. Thank you.
Habituated.
Yeah, more looks that we used to fancy nose with Mazda. So I guess they did well. And I see the seats looks like a sports car a lot.
The
So
steering wheel.
that's a good thing.
Deep dish steering wheel, a good offset to that steering wheel, very much racer style. You got race bucket seats that I hope make it to production, a steering knob to burn your palm on like nobody's business. I've put these in my vehicles before because I make dumb decisions at times. I can tell you, these will burn the palm of your hand. That will not make it to production. The steering wheel will not make it to production because all that recess is going to be replaced by an airbag, which is going to eventually almost make it to being flush with the rest of the wheel. So, I like I don't want anyone to be fooled. I watched Raddy's Rides review this and cover this, I should say. And I was like, I'm buying it. I'm going to buy that. And then when I got to thinking about it, I said, boy, Raddy's Rides, I love his positivity. I love his energy. But every vehicle he reviews, he's so positive. I want to buy them all. And I'm not a billionaire. I'm not even a millionaire. So in assets, yes, but I'm not a multimillionaire. And it was one of those things where I was like, my goodness, I got to cover this. But I need to cover the real deal so that we don't all try to put the pedal to the metal on every vehicle that comes to the market. But this is definitely I'm looking forward to it. I want to see what they do at production. I really do hope they go with a lot of soft touch, and really this looks actually like leather on the dash inside. I'd love to see vehicles, let's say, I don't mind the idea of a vehicle being $2,000 more because the interior is really upscale. So I think this is going to be a beautiful vehicle. I really do think it will make it to production. I think it will be sports car nirvana. But I really also think that I really am hoping, really hoping that Mazda, going with the rotary engines, I hope they have a reliable rotary engine in this vehicle. So that's my big concern. The RX-7, the original, 93 Mazda RX-7, those are Ferrari-like lights. We've seen lights like that on Ferraris before. This thing, if it's under 100 grand, I'm going to be picking one up. If it looks anything like this when it makes it to it, but I think it's going to be pretty close when it makes it to production. I know you're looking at me like, what, you're going to buy a Mazda? Hey, I've had a lot of different brands.
Just because for the same price, many cars are more, I won't say interesting, but could have better feelings to have that, to own it. So it's just depend with the price. Sometimes you could just have something else that you will love more than that.
It is true when it comes down to it. I was watching videos. We were laughing because this video was saying, once you've had a Porsche, you can never, a 911, you can never have any other vehicle because if anything, you'll just get another, like a second Porsche 911 or just keep trading them in. And we kind of laughed because our vision of the Porsche 911, we have driven the 2023 and we're impressed. We loved it. But we're like at 3 times the price of the if it was the exact same price as the Mustang GT, we'd have a decision to make. And we'd probably, I'd go with the Porsche if it was the same price.
Yeah, okay.
But the Porsche 911, the new ones, are 3 times more. And even at double the price, I still think it's, and at the end of the day, even if they were the same price, maybe I would still get the Mustang GT because of the sound of the engine, because I'm not for for the difference that you're going to see in the vehicle. You're going to see it on a track between a Ford Mustang GT and Porsche 911 2023. You're going to see the difference on the track. That's where it's worth spending a little more. But I like vehicles that make a lot of noise, low end on the RPM, so I don't have to go be, really breaking the law to really, enjoy the vehicle, to have sound, to have feeling and emotion. And the Mustang GT at 2,000 RPM has a lot of feeling and emotion. I just recently, I had one earlier this year, a 2022 GT convertible, and I just drove my brother's 2018, and I was like, wow, this 2018 overall is better than my 911 Porsche. And even if I had, the price he paid and the price I paid, there's not much of a price difference. And had I gotten, let's say, and he's got an 18, had I gotten a 2007 or 2007 would have been more expensive. And a 2011 or 2012 911 would have been a lot more than his Mustang GT 2018. So I think smart money is a Mustang GT or a brand new Porsche. Because a brand new Porsche 911, you might drive that thing for 1 or 2 years for free.
And I really love what Arcubo said in the chat. He said it sort of looks stretched like an old Jag. That's true. That's the body of an old Jag.
The E-Type. And I absolutely love the 1960s E-Type Jaguar. I think it's one of the most beautiful vehicles that have ever been made. And this, if it comes to production, could be in my top 10 list of most beautiful vehicles ever made. I find this a lot better looking than the new Jaguar F-Types, because the new Jaguar F-Types is essentially not, the nose isn't stretched quite as much, and it's very angular. And I think what was truly beautiful about the original E-Type Jag was how rounded off it was. Now,
I love that color. If they do, they really do that color. That's the best one, I guess.